Hey guys, welcome back to the Foolish Show. Of course, I am Foolish Phil. If you're new to my channel, thanks for stopping by. If you like this, please hit that like button. If you really like it, please hit that subscribe. I just wanted to give you some thoughts about the news of the day in Michigan football. Defensive coordinator Mike MacDonald is highly rumored to be leaving Michigan after 1 year as the defensive coordinator, going back to his roots in the NFL, going back to the Baltimore Ravens. And if that's true, this is sadly somewhat expected, but earlier than you'd really hope for. And honestly, it's a kind of a gut punch. I know this is how it is when you have guys going back to the NFL. Most of the time they have to wait till the playoffs are over or later on through the cycle, right? So even though Michigan has obviously done their early signing period and is getting ready for their late signing period, or quote-unquote the traditional signing period, now there's coaches leaving, moving, all this, and losing MacDonald is just tough. But again, like I said, it's kind of expected, because what did MacDonald do last year? He came in, and in his first year, he took a defense that was terrible in 2020 and turned it around into a NFL-style defense that is built on giving up yards but not touchdowns. And that was always the mentality of the Michigan defense: bend but don't break. And for whatever you want to say about Ohio State, he showed that his defense could handle NFL caliber offenses. Ohio State is a juggernaut, right? I totally am honest with that. They are a juggernaut. And MacDonald had a defensive scheme that limited them, right? And so it proved that he could do it on his own. Obviously, John Harbaugh of Baltimore, he got rid of his defensive coordinator and decided, you know what? MacDonald can do it. We saw what he did in Ann Arbor. Let's offer him the job and see if he'll take it. Unless there's like some last minute change of heart, and all points are leading towards MacDonald leaving Michigan. There's two sides to this. The negative side, obviously, is Michigan and who's going to be the next defensive coordinator. Is it going to be from within? Is it going to be Steve Clinkscale or Mike Easton, the guy they just signed for the defensive line to replace Nua? They just got him from Notre Dame. Neither of those guys have defensive coordinator experience. But obviously, it's a domino effect. If Michigan loses a coordinator, obviously they're going to have to find another coordinator, whether they promote from within, but then they'll have to hire someone else, because you can have X amount of coaches, you fill those vacancies. So the question becomes, fill within, or look out there and see if you can find a good guy who maybe it's up and coming a little bit. Maybe he's got some good track record, and you can poach him and tell him, you know what? On the positive side, you could say, Michigan's becoming more visual, right? More people are seeing us. And look, MacDonald did very well for 1 year. The NFL wanted him back. Like, if you want to think about Michigan as a stepping stone, come here for a year or two, do a good job, you keep moving up if you want to go to the NFL. It's kind of like Alabama. Alabama seems to always have, underneath Saban, former NFL coaches on offense and NFL coaches on their defense as their coordinators. So honestly, like, Alabama's like, rebuild yourself, stop, right? Under Saban. You're going to show you can do a really good job, you have really good talent. So then, I think it was Bill O'Brien, and the name of the defensive coordinator just eludes me now, but they're both former NFL coaches. So if they want to, they can stay there and be great, playing with great talent. Or, look what I did here. They just wait for another job and they'll get it. Maybe Michigan can start leaning that way, to be in a spot where young, talented guys will be like, okay, let's go to Michigan. I can be there for a couple years, show my talents, my abilities, and then keep moving on. You know, it's very unlikely nowadays that you have I think it was Brent Venables at Clemson, who was their defensive coordinator for 10 years, and he turned down multiple job offers throughout the years. But now he finally took it at Oklahoma. So that's not very common that a defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator stays for 10 years like he did. So maybe that's a positive that you can say, well, Michigan's a good spot. But in this era of the transfer portal, in this era of players leaving whenever they really want to, and don't get me wrong, I'm for players having more power. So I'm for that. I love the name, image, likeness thing too. But I'm immediately worried about Michigan's recruiting class, because this class was very heavy on the defense. And this class, I think, had 4 to 5 defensive backs / safeties that got recruited. All really good guys, 4 stars and 5 stars, with Will Johnson as a 5-star. Keon Saab, or Sab, if I say that wrong, I'm sorry. Just some really good guys, lots of 4s and a 5. And it's like, I'm just worried that, they're going to be like, I wanted to play for, MacDonald. I'm going to go somewhere else. You hope that doesn't happen, but you saw it when Nua left for USC. One of the guys, sorry, his name eludes me, but he was recruited on. He was a verbal, and as soon as Nua left, boom, he says, I'm going to decommit, and it's probably likely he's going to go to USC. He hasn't officially verbaled there yet, but it is what it is, and the players have this too. If they come for a coach and that coach leaves, that's what happens. Honestly, you saw that in Oklahoma. That's how Michigan got Keon Saab. It's like Venables left, and the guy liked Venables, so he didn't go to Oklahoma. He decided to come to Michigan instead, but opened up the opportunity. So we'll see how that goes in the player area. How many people are going to stick, or how many people like, I really like MacDonald, and who you have here now is not it. And again, maybe it won't be right away. They have to name a defensive coordinator. So we'll see who it is. So it is what it is. Just my foolish thoughts on defensive coordinator. I don't know why I said quarterback. Defensive coordinator Ben MacDonald leaving Michigan, going back to the NFL. Also, side note, rumor is that his linebacker coach, George Hilo is not rumored to be going back to the NFL, that he's going to stick at Michigan, but you never know. He's going to want to build his staff. Maybe he'll take Hilo with him as well. So we'll see how it plays out. Hey, just my thoughts. And if you have any comments, please put them in the box below. I'll try to respond as I'm able to. Obviously, Michigan plays Northwestern tonight, so I'll try to do a video recap of that after the game too. Until I see you guys tonight, as always, go Blue.